Hey everybody, my name is Reverend Stephen Milton, and today I want to talk a little bit about conspiracy theories. As you know, conspiracy theories are everywhere now. There's people picketing outside of hospitals saying that COVID-19 is fake. They're saying that the vaccine has microchips in it, that even medicines made for horses are more effective than medicines that have been tested on millions of people. How did we get here? You know, there was a time when conspiracy theories were something that were really at the margins of society. You'd expect them for people who believed in UFOs or paranormal activity. But in the last few years, conspiracy theories have become mainstream. And one of the reasons that's happening is because conspiracy theories get to us through social media. Now, why is that? Why is it that social media is such an easy medium for conspiracy theories to spread on? Well, part of it has to do with how we think when we're on social media. Social media is kind of a form of entertainment, right? Like, you know, you go, hey, I wonder if anybody's checked out my post, and you just look around and you're just kind of relaxed and stuff. And it's a lot like what social networking was like before the internet. You know, back in the day, neighbors would get together over the fence and just, shoot the breeze and talk about what's going on in the neighborhood, and, who's sleeping with who just lost their job, what kid is struggling in school. And it didn't really matter if any of it was true, because what you were really trying to do was just have a conversation, have a social connection with the people you were talking to. And the same thing happens when people get together to talk about sports. You know, you can talk all afternoon long about sports, predicting what team's going to do what. And, there's only one sure thing in sports, and that's that the Leafs are not going to win the Stanley Cup. Other than that, it's all up in the air. And whether you get the point spread right or you get the trades right, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. You could be utterly wrong about everything you said this year about the Raptors, and your friends are still going to talk to you next year about the Raptors, because it's a game. Because what matters when you're talking with your social mind is not the content or quality of the information, but rather just the chance to be in connection with someone. And that's a nice thing. Except that when social media came along, it took that and it ramped it up and took it somewhere very different. When social media first started, right, it was supposed to be just a way for you to get together with your old high school friends and your neighbors and people maybe you'd lost touch with. And it was great because suddenly you could be in touch with them without having to spend any money on long distance calls back when that was a thing. But now people realize that with so many people spending so much time on social media, it's an easy sort of backdoor to get into our heads. But the problem is that our heads are not thinking straight when we're on social media. We're still using that same kind of relaxed social mind that we were using when we were talking over the back fence. We're not fact-checking anything. Nobody takes notes when they check TikTok or Instagram. That's not what it's for. And yet that's where the information's coming from. You know, I'm a minister, right? That's what I do for a living. And a couple months after the vaccine started rolling out, all the ministers in Toronto received an email from the mayor of Toronto saying he wanted to meet that night. And so I went to the meeting. It was a big Zoom meeting, and there wasn't a whole lot of notice, so there's only about 60 faith leaders on the call. And we were Christians, but we were also Jewish rabbis and imams from the Muslim faith. We're all there, and we don't even know why we're on the call. And Mayor Tory says he wants to know how he can encourage people to get vaccinated, because the uptake hadn't been as fast as everybody had been hoping for. And the religious leaders spoke back to him in basically two groups. One group said, well, the thing that's just holding my people back from getting vaccinated is it's unclear where to go or how to sign up. So that was one group. But the other group was saying, my people don't want to get vaccinated at all because they're on WhatsApp and they're being told by their friends and their aunties back in the old country that you shouldn't trust the vaccine. If you want people to get vaccinated, Mayor Tory, these religious leaders said, they said, you got to get on WhatsApp. Having ads on TV and in bus shelters is not going to do it. Social media is great for all sorts of things, but it's lousy for taking on challenging information. The kind of brain you engage when you're sitting down in class in high school or university is not the kind of brain which you're using when you're on social media. That's just the nature of the medium. And yet, people are funneling really, really dangerous information into social media to try and get people to bond together around misinformation. People who get into conspiracy theories find that they're suddenly part of an in-group, a group which is small, which feels like it has the secret to how things really work. And one of the sure clues that you're being misled is when they say the government can do more than it's already doing. Governments are highly inefficient structures. They rarely do more than they're asked to do. And so the idea that they could keep a secret perfectly or get microchips into our blood, like governments aren't good at that kind of thing. It takes them forever to make even mediocre decisions. And yet, there's this fantasy that governments are extraordinarily powerful and that they're run by a bunch of pedophiles. You know what? That may make you feel like you've got the inside track, but it's a fantasy. It's an illusion. So what do we do? Well, one answer, of course, would be if you're not into conspiracy theories and you see some of your friends drifting that way, you just write them off and cancel them. That's one approach, but that doesn't really help because chances are they got into this because they were feeling alienated and lonely anyway. And they like the fact that they've got a new bunch of friends who agree with them and are pouring a lot of positive affirmation on them. The more loving thing to do would be to listen to them. Even if you disagree with them, listen to them. Let them remember that you stuck by them when things got hard. Because a lot of the people who are unvaccinated and who have bought into conspiracy theories may well get sick and may well end up in the hospital. And wouldn't it be nice if you were remembered as the person who stuck with them, even though you disagreed with them? That's the loving thing to do. And if you can help steer them away from malicious fantasies, that would be great, but don't hold your breath. But if you can love them, that they'll remember. I hope that helps. Peace be with you. And if you want to join in the conversation, please write something down in the comments. Take care.